Tonight, the summer of floods, the video showing the rush of water and wood carrying houses and families away. Dozens of swift water rescues as people were stranded in New Mexico, in their homes and in their cars, even in trees. The devastating news for a Fort Bliss family, 2 of their children swept away, and the surveillance video showing the rapid rise of that water. 173 still missing in the Texas Hill Country as cadaver dogs are being used to help out search and rescue teams. The questions we're asking about why a better system wasn't in place when county documents showed they've known about this issue for nearly a decade. Plus, Al Roker standing by with more on why this wild summer has been so volatile for floods and the next threat coming up. Also tonight, Biden's physician refusing to answer questions about the former president's health while he was in the White House, invoking the Fifth Amendment to a committee in Congress. Pulled from the flames, the heart-stopping video capturing the moment officers rescue people trapped in a burning car. Who killed the Maine paddleboarder? The homicide investigation after a woman was found dead after she went out at dusk. Would you let your kids into a driverless car? The new move from Waymo, allowing teens to hail a ride without mom or dad. And great white shark encounter. You'll hear from the young woman who came within feet of this fin and the massive shark it belonged to. Nightly News starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
And good evening. Tonight, as we come on the air with another American community facing deadly flooding and destruction. This week, following so much pain in Texas and North Carolina, rushing water slamming Ruidoso, New Mexico. A house, you see it right here, unmoored, floating away down a rushing wall of water. And look at this, an avalanche of debris and water crashing through a town. The storm turning deadly for 3, including 2 children. You can see the power of the flash flooding here when suddenly this river is inundated with water, leading to that flash flood. It happens right there. And this store's sped up surveillance video shows just how high the water rose, causing that destruction. Horses swept away in rushing waters as well. You see that there, trying to escape the floods. The aftermath immense as the small town works to find the missing. Steve Patterson leads us off tonight from Ruidoso, New Mexico.
Tonight, residents in scenic southern New Mexico reckoning with the fury of raging floodwaters, taking stock of anything left. In Ruidoso, the flood so terrible it cleaved through whole neighborhoods, so powerful it ripped homes away from their owners.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This store's sped-up surveillance video shows just how high the water rose. Overnight, exhausted rescue workers made the discovery they were hoping to avoid. 3 dead, including 2 young children, a 7-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl.
The little boy was found under the utility trailer by the bridge on a meander, and the little girl was about 50 feet away from him.
Tonight, officials from Fort Bliss, Texas, confirming the children belong to a soldier and their spouse, both in the hospital with serious injuries.
You have multiple vehicles and mobile homes starting to float away here at Gatlin.
Rescuers working around the clock, scouring for the stranded. In all, officials say 65 swiftwater rescues made just yesterday.
We had people in trees, we had people in the water, people trapped in houses with water coming into them.
The village's river, the Rio Ruidoso, rising 18 feet in just 30 minutes.
The mud is just everywhere.
Lifelong Ruidoso resident Eric Orozco says he and his family's decades-old home is just too far gone.
You just see so much work that you put into, and not just for us, bro, it's for everyone in this community right here that's going through this flood damage, and it just really hurts.
Officials say part of the problem, burn scars from a series of wildfires that cut into the hillsides almost exactly a year ago. Now, the town's mayor says they're runways for disaster.
How direct is the devastation we're seeing today to the fact that there was a saturation on that scar running off into town?
It's 100% related to that. There's nothing to absorb it, to slow it down, so the water picks up whatever debris and pushes it.
A cycle of climate disaster, punishing residents just for calling these hillsides home.
Steve Patterson and his team join us live from the disaster zone tonight. And Steve, we just heard the mayor right there mention those burn scars. So how long will those pose a threat to the people who live there?
Tom, the mayor tells me if this community gets a rain that bad anytime within the next 3 to 5 years, there is the potential for more disastrous flooding. Meanwhile, officials are starting to run the numbers. They estimate about 35 homes, and I mean just residential homes here, have been destroyed. Tom.
Steve Patterson amid all that destruction in New Mexico. I want to bring in Al Roker right now. Al, it's been such a chaotic week or so, and the threat's still not over?
Yeah, that's the big problem here, Tom. And in fact, we've had such a volatile flooding summer because of climate change, warmer atmosphere, holding more water. We've been looking at this summer. It's the peak flooding season, prolonged and intense rainfall, and urbanization and land. A lot of folks in these areas that they didn't live in before. Burn scars and flood-prone locations. Now, what we are looking at, we've got severe thunderstorm watches and warnings south of New York, all the way down into the Carolinas as heavy thunderstorms make their way in. We've got the possibility for flash flooding stretching from New York into Pennsylvania, down into the Carolinas. And we've got the risk of severe weather tonight in the Northeast and all the way into the plains for tonight. Wind gusts of 70 miles per hour, tornadoes possible. And then we move into tomorrow, more severe weather from Burlington to Columbia, out into the plains and the Rockies. And we're talking, Tom, another 5 inches of rain possible along the mid-Atlantic and heavier rain also in the upper Midwest. So we are not done by a long shot.
All right, Al Roker. Al, we appreciate that. We want to head to Texas now, where more than 170 people are still missing after the catastrophic floods there. And officials are facing questions about whether enough was done to warn residents about rising floodwaters. Here's Morgan Chesky.
Tonight, from high above a heartbroken hill country to the depths of its muddy, debris-filled waters, crews battling to find the more than 173 people still declared missing.
As crews dig through seemingly endless piles of debris, heartbreaking details are emerging. One of the first people upon this site sharing when they walked up, cell phones were still ringing beneath the rubble.
The death toll now at least 119 lives. Today, Braxton Jarman's high school confirmed the rising sophomore died in the catastrophic flooding. His stepmother and sister are still missing. And the family of 8-year-old Mary Kate Jacoby said she's entered the gates of heaven, calling her tiny but mighty and full of love. She was attending Camp Mystic, where these new images capture a telling scene. Campers' clothes and trunks spread outside a cabin as cadaver dogs carried out their grim work nearby. Today, amid questions about whether more should have been done to warn people about the dangerous rising waters, local officials said they are laser focused on search efforts.
You know, we're not running, we're not going to hide from everything. That's going to be checked into at a later time. I wish I could tell you that time. I don't know that time.
But records from a county meeting in 2016 show a former commissioner said the flood warning system was, quite simply, pretty antiquated, calling it marginal at the best.
Records show that the concept of flood warnings have been discussed at least 24 times by the county. What's the biggest reason that these systems have not gone into place at this point?
You know, Morgan, you and I grew up here. And I wasn't in office during those discussions. And frankly, I'm more focused on the future than the past.
Back in the flood zone.
When you first laid eyes on this one, what stood out?
It was the massive amounts of water.
Disaster specialist Larry Miner says his teams have seen the unthinkable. Cadaver dogs leading those on horseback to remote river areas where heartbreaking discoveries have yet to slow down.
We'll stay until we get it done. Yeah, and we want them to have closure.
And for the families of those who don't know what to think right now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of loss. I feel for them. We're praying for them.
It's terrible what they're seeing over there. Morgan joins us now live, day 6 of this search. Morgan, it looks like it may be raining again where you are. Just how large is this search area?
Yeah, Tom, this is a monumental effort that crews are facing. The Guadalupe River runs for 22 miles throughout Kerr County. And keep in mind that much of that area not only has debris along the banks that you can see behind me, but debris underwater as well, posing a risk for those dive crews. That is why it is definitely an all-hands-on-deck approach here. Tom, the last time a living survivor was found, that was on Friday. That was 5 days ago. Whether or not anyone wants to admit it, we are now approaching the miracle stage here. Tom.
Morgan Chesky for us. Okay, Morgan. To Washington now, and the new escalation in President Trump's trade war. He says it will bring back American jobs, but it could also increase the price you pay, including a steep new tariff on products from Brazil and its coffee. Gabe Gutierrez has late details.
Tonight, the new trade ultimatums that could impact the price you pay for imports. President Trump sending new letters slapping certain countries with higher tariffs if they don't reach trade deals with the U.S. by August 1st. Among them, a 20% tariff on goods from the Philippines and a 30% tax on imports from Iraq.
The formula was a formula based on common sense, based on deficits, based on how we've been treated over the years.
And late today, the president also announcing a 50% tariff on goods from Brazil, in part over its prosecution of its former president. In the 3 months since President Trump declared Liberation Day, the White House has announced partial trade frameworks with the UK, Vietnam, and China, but no others so far. The president says the tariffs have already been worth it, and inflation has remained steady.
We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, money that we've never seen before.
Some American companies tell us the president's tariffs have already leveled the playing field.
We find it offensive that there are Chinese manufacturers, in my opinion, dumping products in this country at prices below our cost to make them here in this country.
Brian Gantz's company manufactures non-lethal self-defense products in Indiana.
We're hiring a lot more people in the U.S. as a result of this.
But other businesses say the impact has been devastating.
Well, the uncertainty is really the biggest problem.
Heather Fritchie runs a packaging company in Pennsylvania and says it's not so simple to stop importing products from China.
The problem is that the last, 30 or 40 years have seen the decrease in the plants that we have and the machinery we have and the skilled labor that we have.
And Tom, we're learning new details about the dramatic fallout between Elon Musk and President Trump. In a new podcast interview, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles called it a very troublesome ending, adding that Musk is a fascinating person who sees the world differently. This all comes after the president said he thinks it's ridiculous for Musk to start a new political party. Tom?
Gabe Gutierrez at the White House, where it is coming down tonight. All right, Gabe, we thank you. Now to the fireworks on Capitol Hill, with former President Biden's doctor subpoenaed by Republicans, declining to answer questions about Biden's health while he was in office, citing his Fifth Amendment rights. Here's Kelly O'Donnell.
Today, the kind of house call that a former White House physician did not want to make. Dr. Kevin O'Connor, who treated former President Biden for at least 16 years, asserted his Fifth Amendment right today and declined to give testimony after he was subpoenaed by House Republicans investigating Mr. Biden's medical and mental fitness while in office.
Dr. O'Connor, were you ever told to lie about the president's health?
On the advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based upon the physician-patient privilege and in reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
This is unprecedented, and I think that this adds more fuel to the fire, that there was a cover-up.
But a lawyer for O'Connor insists the doctor could not testify without risking his medical license, writing, Dr. O'Connor will not violate his oath of confidentiality for any of his patients, including President Biden. The 82-year-old former president is now being treated for an aggressive prostate cancer.
I'm feeling good.
Recent books allege episodes of mental decline while he was president, like not recalling the names of longtime aides. The former president has disputed that. Democrat Jasmine Crockett defended Biden's mental fitness.
I did have an opportunity to interact with the president. I never had a concern.
Dr. O'Connor is among several close Biden aides being called to testify as Republicans question whether Biden was in command during his presidency. Tom?
All right, Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, thank you. Now to the mysterious death of a woman in Maine who police say was just out paddleboarding in a pond. The community is shocked and questions are swirling around what has been deemed a homicide. Aaron McLaughlin picks it up from there.
Tonight, the hunt for a potential killer after the body of Sunshine Stewart was found near a campsite in Maine. State police say an autopsy was performed on the 48-year-old and that they consider her death a homicide, telling NBC News her body was found under unusual circumstances, but not releasing the cause of death.
Just for search purposes, she is very experienced on the water with a paddleboard.
Last seen July 2nd, paddleboarding across this pond in the small town of Union. Police say Sunshine's body was discovered by investigators the next day. Close family friends stunned.
Honestly, she's like one of the best people I ever knew. Sorry. She was somebody who believed in everyone she ever met.
Kimberly Hamill has known Sunshine since grade school.
She was a biologist, and she was also a carpenter. She owned her own construction business. She had this incredible life.
Police now appealing to anyone who may have seen Sunshine paddling last Wednesday between 6 and 9 p.m. to come forward. The campground adjacent to the pond tells NBC News state investigators have been there daily to access the crime scene. Police saying they've ruled out accidental death or drowning. In a statement, the police now urging the public to remain aware of their surroundings and report any suspicious behavior to law enforcement.
I grew up in Union, and as far as I know, nothing like that has ever happened there. And for it to have happened to Sunshine is like, how could that even be? It just makes it feel like nothing will be right again, ever.
Erin McLaughlin, NBC News.
And we will be back in 60 seconds with the brief encounter they'll never forget. Two teens brush with a great white. We are back now with the stunning new images off a Massachusetts beach. A paddleboarder in the water with the fin of a great white shark just feet away from her. Sam Brock has this one.
It was a split second.
Oh, Maddie?
That felt like a shark-filled eternity for Margaret Bowles.
We were obviously shocked to see that fin pop up.
Marine scientists soon confirming that this dorsal fin, protruding from the water by Woods Hole, Massachusetts, where the Harvard student was paddleboarding, belonged to a great white shark.
Never expect to run into the apex predator out there.
Shark sightings have been grabbing headlines all summer, from this stunning aerial of a great white shark swimming off the coast of Montauk, New York, to a 20-foot basking shark that popped up in a Rhode Island bay.
So you were perched on that deck?
Yes, sir.
Right out in the water over your shoulder, that's where you saw the shark?
Yeah.
Then, only weeks ago, 9-year-old Leah Lendell nearly had her hand severed from a shark attack in Florida.
Something hard bit me and tried to take me away.
Surgeons working for 6 hours to put Leah's hand back together. Bowles, for her part, just feeling fortunate that this chance encounter was harmless.
The dorsal fin was around 4 feet away from her board, which would have put the head about a foot away.
I mean, does that terrify you?
I think, again, a near miss is still a miss.
The Atlantic Shark Institute says it's quite rare to see a great white shark that far away from the Cape. They also this year had their earliest great white sighting ever in neighboring Rhode Island. Tom?
All right, Sam Brock for us. We're back in a moment with body cam video showing the moment these first responders pulled passengers out of a burning car, saving their lives, plus wild video of a kid's worst nightmare, getting caught and trapped, yep, inside the claw machine. Stay with us. We're back now with some new body cam video we want to show you, capturing the moment Atlanta firefighters pulled passengers from a burning car. You see those first responders racing to the scene of the fiery crash, quickly cutting a passenger out of her seatbelt, pulling her away from the blaze before rushing back to rescue the driver. Officers say the crash happened July 4th after they tried to pull the car over for drag racing. Also tonight, the age-old question from every teenager, mom or dad, can you pick me up? The answer for some parents now, just Waymo it. The driverless car company now offering teens between 14 and 17 years old rides starting in Phoenix. Waymo says parents can pair teens to their accounts so they can hail the fully autonomous rides. And a little boy near Cincinnati thought he came up with a life hack for the claw machine. Turns out it didn't work. He tried climbing inside but got stuck, and he won a free chance to get rescued by police and firefighters who eventually were able to pull the little guy out. All right, when we come back, for decades, Barbie has looked much the same, and while the new model just out looks similar, there is a major departure for the beloved doll. We'll explain. That's next. Finally tonight, a brand new Barbie will soon hit toy store shelves, and she comes with some extra special accessories, an insulin pump and glucose monitor. Here's Emily Aketa on the first Barbie with type 1 diabetes.
After more than 6 decades of Barbie, there's no question the beloved doll can do it all. She rocks different hairstyles, explores countless careers, and celebrates different backgrounds. Express yourself. And this week, doll maker Mattel is expanding her repertoire, introducing the first Barbie doll with type 1 diabetes. After past criticism over Barbie's early lack of diversity, Mattel says it marks an important step in our commitment to inclusivity and enables more children to see themselves reflected in Barbie. Children like Eloise.
I've always wanted a Barbie just like me that has a pump like me and a Dexcom like me.
Reactions already pouring in.
She's just like me.
Mattel worked with nonprofit Breakthrough T1D to develop the doll.
You got the chance to give some kids the Barbie, and what was their reaction?
It was amazing, the moment that we unveiled Barbie. The screams, the shrieks, the joy was extraordinary. Frankly, the tears. I was crying. The kids were crying. Then they started chanting, Barbie, Barbie, Barbie.
4-year-old Cora Patel showed us her continuous glucose monitor.
What does it do?
Make me healthy.
Just like Barbie's.
When she saw this Barbie, it's the only time I've seen her ask for a doll. So she saw something in it that she sees in herself, which is really cool.
Emily Ikeda, NBC News.
All right, that does it for us tonight. That's Nightly News for this Wednesday. I'm Tom Yamas. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.